Hello and welcome to Backdrop Designer. Now, you've probably just caught the demo of this and well done. I hope you enjoy using it. I'll take you through a few things that it does and maybe just talk about how the UI might look confusing, and yeah, it does need some work. But okay, so you've got your file menu here for opening and saving. You get a few things here for clearing any custom files, any autosave files which reside inside the app data folder, and some other things. There's a little help panel here. Recommend just looking at that. Some of the shortcut keys. There's a few ones in there like how to scale a brush. You can use mouse wheel. Control and mouse wheel will make it scale faster. And if you look down here, it tells you the scale that it's at. It also tells you down here the rotation and some other things. It tells you the rotation up here as well. Okay, so that done, you can choose different brushes here. Just click on them. You can see which one you're on down the bottom right and also at the top left, and also just some information about the rotation down here. So not confusing at all, right? This is an early version of this software, the first version, and I'm sure everything that I've created for this was kind of just created organically without much thought. And yeah, I do need to work on a few things. So I'm just using layers here to sort of draw some branches here in front and behind. I just pressed X there to flip that horizontally, and I'm just making a weird shape. I can go ahead and grab that shape like so, and in doing that I can name this brush as branch, and now I've got this called branch here, and I'm just going to do Control and backspace to clear everything that I did. I'm going to do some magic to make the word demo go away. There we go, because I've got a little cheat. And so now I've got this brush here. I can do things with that. I'm going to flip that vertically and can rotate it and make this kind of cluster or whatever, right? But another cool thing I can do is change the colors of it. So if I put it down, so I'll just click it down, right, and I do auto update or auto UD, I'm going to change these colors of that last brush. Now nothing happens because I need to bring this slider up. Right, that slider basically says replace with the new color, right? Replace the colors that it detects with new colors. I'm doing these kind of browns, a bit of red on the base there like that. Okay, so now I've got that, I can just do loads of weird little branches in there. We can get one of these trunks, put that in there. I'll just put it behind like that. And we got this really weird tree, and I'm going to do some foliage stuff. So I do have some leaves in here. Let's grab this one. In fact, if I hold down Control and click, it's going to pick at random any one of those three. I just want to turn off auto update so I don't update anything that I've plotted down. I'm just going to right click to grab these green colors. You can see the color changes up here, right? And as I click, it's gonna pick at random other leaves and things, and I'm just gonna rotate using E and R and just let it just plot these down. So after I've clicked, it randomizes those. Now you might not be able to save out any images or anything, but you can still grab brushes and can use them like that. So the demo isn't completely limited. Demo will let you merge an image and get the image out that way. The only thing you can't really do is export in a bigger resolution, like these buttons here, and a few other things like saving the Backdrop Designer file to work on later. So you can't really do that. Now, this is quite different from Photoshop, because Photoshop, you're basically stroking with brushes, whereas this, you're more like plotting with graphics. And imagine trying to copy and paste loads of things in Photoshop and rotating them. It would take so much longer than this. So this is kind of a different way of approaching art, especially if you're making game assets. You know, this is probably just a much more preferred way if you're making a game and you've got access to all these different things to make up your own assets. I'm just going to show you. So even in the demo version, you can get access to certain files. You can also load files. So if someone was to give you access to some backdrop or asset that they made, I'm just going to hold press shift to shuffle it a little bit. There we go. Shift will shuffle. You can tap shift and get any one of the three there, or I just choose them like that. Right, I can come down and choose them. So as I was saying, the paid version of this, the full version, you can save the file. So I'll just save that, desktop, and I'll test. Right, and then control backspace. And in the demo, if I press F6, it goes back to the demo mode. I can open, at least I can open file. So I'll just open test, and yep, all that appears. Now it will have dependent files. For example, this branch that I created, it would depend on that. Now if I go into the folder that this is contained in, so let's just see processed custom brushes. So that's the folder that I tell it about at the start. So it's made this branch. Okay, so you can still extract out any of your work. So for example, if I use the capture brush here, it ignores the background, which is nice. And I call this tree from demo, tree demo, right? And it's grabbed that brush, and if I go into this folder, it's actually there. So the demo is not completely limited. You do have the ability to get your images out, right? Let's see if I was to apply the shader. I think it might skip that. Let's just try it there. So I'll put this little retro shader on here, and this time I'll grab it again. I'll call this retro test, and I think I know what happens here. It looks exactly the same. So the only thing that's happening is the shader's doing things after, because it retains that image, right? It just retains it, and it's just doing the shader after. But if you were to do a merge all, you would get the backdrop as well, but I don't think you would actually get the, yeah, it ignores the backdrop as well with a merge. So there is that limitation to the demo. So if you want access to the full version, then you can export individual layers for parallax. You can also export the whole image. You can up-res the image without losing any detail. In fact, it might increase the detail. It might increase the detail because it's looking at each individual brush and not the whole image, and it gives you the best resolution then. So there we go, there's a little tree. So with that tree grabbed, I can actually bring in new colors and see I can completely change that. I was going to plot that down just to give you a comparison. Let's just get rid of that, put it to original color, put it over here, and put it to new color, put it here, click on auto update, and now I can change anything. So the green tones, as we can see, there's green tones in the leaves, so I can change those to red. Red tones, which there is some in the branch, so I'll change that to like a kind of bluish black or something. And blue tones, there's not very many, but I'll just take them away anyway. And any black tones as well, so I can kind of tone that a lot differently. So if you really want full customization, you need to really kind of define those colors much more clearly, and you can also take them away completely as well, to the point they're either transparent. If you want to keep things solid, you just bring up the solid mode, right? And you can also use the cutout effect here. So there's a cutout amount to get. Let's see if I take away the black, bring up, take away the black tones, change the cutout amount. It doesn't quite work as expected, but yeah, it should be taken away. There we go, like that. So bring up that cutout amount, it will completely cut those out, and you can get kind of new shapes and things with doing that. So you turn it back to transparent, bring these up, bring it back to solid. I even make that solid, so you don't need that. And there's also blurriness as well to make it blurry, like that. So once you're happy, just turn off auto update. You've basically updated that brush, like so, and yeah, you can continue to make little kind of branches off of that one, and so on, like so. If I did want to take away those tones and just be left with that, for example, I would use the cutout effect just to be left with a bit of the top there, and then I can change those colors up. So any color that I change, I can have a look up there to see how it changes it. And I think if I bring this, there we go, if I bring that tone up, it'll be a bit brighter. Let's go a bit more towards orange, like that, and I can put some little highlights in, like so, and even more. Press 5 for 6. So the opacity is actually contributing to the cutout effect as well, so you have to be mindful of that. But if I do want to make a new brush from that, all I do is plot it down, and then re-grab it, because it's now a new thing, and I can call that tips. Right, so it's grabbed that, and I press B to turn the brush on. So show brush, yeah, it's on, and just make sure that's chosen. Okay, I just need to bring the cutout amount down because it was so high that I wasn't seeing it anymore, and just reset all these sliders. So now I've got that, and instead of me choosing individual colors, I can right click here to get all the colors to become the same, and I press 4 for some opacity, and start to layer in little highlights here and there, and make a kind of nice tree. Okay, the leaf sizes are all kind of different weird sizes, but it's just a demo. And now I've got a new brush I can use for making anything, so I can choose some green, right click to get all those to be green, and pressing X, I'm kind of flipping left and right, change that to a lighter green, or right click to make them all change. And instead of me scaling up and down with the mouse and flipping X all the time, I can actually switch these two things on, and that'll do that very thing for me. I'm pressing 5 for a little bit of opacity there, and there we go, I've made a little shrub, and I can then grab that, call that shrub demo. I can undo all those steps. So every time you plot down in this software, it's taking up a plot, right? It's taking up a number of plots, and there is a limit to that. Down the bottom here it says plots use 15 out of 2048, right? And I basically did an undo, so I can kind of replace those plots with new ones, i.e. my little shrub clump here. I can lay those down. I can also bring in some random colour and get a little bit of a tint. Now it does need this to change a bit as well. Bring that right up so you can see it. There we go, we've got a few little tonal variations. And there's also this eye level factor, which means it's going to actually become like what do you call that, perspective type of effect. Let's just go below these, and I can actually draw all of this in like so. So instead of all that other stuff, let's just do an undo for all of that, as well as all this, and then I'll just draw all that in here. And let's say I just want a wee bit of a darker bit. All I need to do is just darken all of these, bring up this slider a bit more, press 7, let's bring down the color range, let's make that even darker, press 2 for a bit of opacity, and now I'm making a little shade under the tree, 5. So every time I press those numbers, I'm changing the opacity. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The top row, your keys. I can easily change the backdrop color as well, like that. And if I want to see what this would look like as a tiled background, just click on this wrap mode, or press W, and there we go. You can see how that would look if it was tiled. And I can also enable the scroller mode to see how that would look if it was to be in parallax. Now it's not ideal because there's all different layers, but if I merged everything, so I just click on merge all, it's going to merge all these layers together. I still got that brush there, and now I just click on the scroller mode. Scroller mode is on, but it doesn't work on layer 0, so I'm just going to cut that out and paste it in layer 5. Whatever layer this scroll is on, it's gonna, whatever layer the brush is on, it's gonna move at a different speed. So if I cut that and move it to layer 15, for example, it's gonna move faster. You can also control that with the mouse wheel over this checkbox, right, to make it go faster or slower. But you can see it makes this tiled background. Quite nice to see if you wanted your game to have a kind of background layer of mountains and it just had to repeat. You can do that. Now as far as mountains go, I don't have any mountains in the default pack, but if you go into the folder of things supplied, I've supplied a whole bunch of, in the wrong drive, a whole bunch of brushes. This core pack, shapes, texture, Ghibli art, some art in there. There's Ghibli stuff in here. There's loads of stuff from Blip Paint, a very old tool that I created. Some shapes in here, curves and things. There's hand painted stuff, there's brush stuff, there's oil paint marks. Some of these I've included in the base pack. There's a whole lot of other stuff. Let's see, I'm looking for the mountains one. So it should be a pack somewhere. I actually forget where I put it, but you should be able to get access to those. I thought it was in the maybe brush pack one. Strokes, daubs, brush marks, core brush pack, art. These are strands, hand painted. There's some other cool stuff in here. There's a little tuft, for example. Load that in. Let's just turn off the scroller, and let's say I wanted to make some mountains with this. I'm going to turn down the eye level factor so that it's a constant size. And you see it's like all kind of red, green, and blue. I'm just going to plot it down. Let's just turn off those flips and random color. I'm going to plot it down and then put on auto update. Bring in the slider, and I'm going to choose. I'm just right clicking to get one of these tones, and then I'm going to make it all like that. Okay, and I was just doing an undo to stop that plotting, and then I'm just going to build up some little kind of mountainous sort of shapes background like this. Press 3 for a little bit of opacity. Right, and then I've got some other brushes in here. Let's see, trunks. what leaf and shape. These shapes can be quite good actually for adding a bit of something. Whatever you want to do, really, just load in your own shapes and things as well. Any sort of things you think you want to build your art up to look like, and anything like that. And I do have some oil stuff here as well. Got some oil strokes. These can be quite good for a kind of painted type of look. I'm just pressing tab to sample some local colours. And there you go, I've kind of made a mountain type of effect. The background there. I can even put in some background trees. Let's just switch that back. So auto updates off, and got some auto colors here. And I can actually go just a layer behind, put some trees in the background down here, flip them round. I can again change the sky color to see how everything looks if it were brighter, and other things like if I want to change the color of the mountain. Now that mountain has all been done in layer 7, so if I click on layer 7 and click preview, I can recolor that layer. Everything in there, I can just bring that in, right click there, right click, see what it looks like with different tones all in there. Choose how much I want. You can see it's going between the original colour of the brushes though. So I'm just going to turn off the preview and actually copy the layer. So I'll do a copy and then a paste of that layer, right? I've copied and pasted, and yep, it's kind of looking a bit different. So that might be a new bug discovered. Let's just do a copy again, copy and paste. Okay, there seems to be a little bit of a bug with that, so I need to wait until I see how that develops. Forget which one was the original now. Let's turn off the bake. Oh, I did the wrong thing there. Okay, I can just undo a whole lot of things. I'll just hold down the undo button. Okay, so back to that, and then always seems to be the case when I'm demoing that I find bugs with it. But yeah, that's gonna be it really. I'll work on what the hell's happening there and that'll be a new update. But thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoy using the tool, and if you like it, consider jumping onto the itch page. So you can click on that there and it should take you over to the itch page where the software is. So yeah, that's it there. And maybe considering spending $5 on that, it would help me out a lot. Thanks for watching, bye!